Oh, those fat beats in your ear mean only one thing. It is time for another edition of the StartSit Show. Welcome, everybody. I'm your man, MG Marcus Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio. And Florio, here we are, pretty much to the halfway point. After this week, week 9, we will be at the halfway point of the 2022 NFL season. How are we feeling about it right now?
I'm still enjoying it. I'm definitely a little bit more tired than I was at the start of the year, but still enjoying setting lineups, watching games, all of that. Because before you know it, it'll be gone.
Absolutely will be gone, so we should try and savor as much of it as we can heading into the weekend. Anyway, you know how this show works. We go through these starts and sits every week. Michael F. Florio posts them at NFL.com/startsit. We go through a few of them, and then you go on the internet and you pick them apart, as you are wont to do. But we got more to talk about than that. We'll talk about some players that deserve more hype, and also Week 9's biggest questions. But before we get into that, wanted to send my shout out, my condolences to the family and friends of Ray Guy, the Hall of Fame punter, the only punter in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the longtime Raider. Of course, we don't see a whole lot of guys like this. We don't see a whole lot of guys getting attribution and recognition like this. He was certainly one of one. So condolences out to his family, to the Raiders family, to everybody associated with Ray Guy, an absolute legend of the NFL game. All right. Let's look at some of the starts and sits. We will start with the quarterback position. Florio, who is on your list this week?
Tua Tagovailoa, who is just becoming a guy you start each week. Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, a couple of Justins who I think will have nice weeks. And then Aaron Rodgers, because he's playing the Detroit Lions. If you can't play him now, when can you? And then the sits, Matthew Stafford, who's been struggling this year. Jared Goff. PJ Walker's been playing good ball. I just don't love the matchup. And then Mac Jones.
Mac Jones has been in and out of the lineup, and you mentioned Aaron Rodgers is a guy that if you can't do it now, I don't know when you can do it. But let's talk about Justin Herbert, because the matchup is great against the Atlanta Falcons. They have struggled all year stopping opposing passing games. Any concern, though, about the potential lack of pass catchers? We know Mike Williams is out. Keenan Allen is trending in the wrong direction. Does that worry you at all about Herbert?
It does worry me a little bit. I think it lowers his ceiling for sure, but I still think the matchup is good enough. And Justin Herbert, I'm hoping that week off allowed his ribs to heal up. He just hasn't looked the same since that injury he suffered in week 2 against the Chiefs. But maybe the bye week has helped him overcome that. But again, this is about the Atlanta Falcons. They've allowed the 4th most fantasy points to quarterbacks this season, which includes giving up the most passing yards and the 4th most touchdowns. I just think it's a week with a good matchup with a talented quarterback that even without his pass catchers, with 6 teams on bye, I'd still be starting him.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. 6 teams on a bye, chances are you don't have a whole lot of options. Even if you don't like Herbert's matchup, I mean, there's not a lot of places to pivot to. Tua Tagovailoa has been very good this season. I know a lot of us, look, I was a fan of Tua coming in. I was hoping for the best when they added Tyreek Hill to that offense. And especially the last couple of weeks, he really has stepped up. Tough matchup, though, against the Bears, who've been soft against the run, but tough on the pass. But you still like Tua in your lineup this week.
Yeah, because my thinking is the run game in Miami is purely just there to set up the pass game. Like, this offense goes as Tua and their dynamic receivers go. So even though on paper this looks like a tough matchup, I'm going to trust the talent in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and the fact that I don't think the Bears can hold them in check for 4 quarters. And Tua right now, say what you will about the guy and that his receivers are bailing him out on these deep balls or whatever, he is by far the highest completion percentage on deep passes this year. So always a capability of scoring points in chunks.
A quick question. Who would you rather start this week? Tua against the Bears or Lamar Jackson against the Saints on Monday night?
Oh, I'll go with Lamar there, but it's closer than I ever thought.
It's a question I've gotten a couple of times this week, so I just wanted to kind of poll you. I said Lamar too, but I was curious to get somebody else's opinion about it. Let's look over to the wide receivers now, the pass catchers, and of course, 6 teams on a bye, so a lot of pass catchers are unavailable. Who do you like? Who do you not like in Week 9?
We have DJ Moore in there, which was originally supposed to be Keenan Allen, but he's not looking like he's going to suit up. Juju Smith-Schuster's in play in a good matchup, as is Tyler Boyd. Chris Olave, Mr. Air Yards himself, and then some sits. Allen Robinson, Bobby Trees, who's just been struggling this year, Isaiah McKenzie, and Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson hurts, but I just don't trust his quarterback.
Right. That's sort of the thing. Wilson was good early, kind of faded, came back last week, but the Zach Wilson portion of the equation makes everybody, I think, a little bit nervous. Let's talk about Tyler Boyd, though, because a couple weeks ago had the huge game. Last week against the Browns, the Bengals just sputtered offensively, although a lot of that had to do with Joe Burrow lacking protection. But this week, the Titans, they don't get much of a pass rush, and their secondary is a problem, so this feels like a really good bounce-back spot for Boyd.
Yeah, and I think even the fact that he had 10 fantasy points last week, despite how bad this offense played, shows that he brings a safe floor. We know the ceiling is much higher. And the reason I'm optimistic this week is because last week went so awry because the Bengals just couldn't protect Joe Burrow. This week, they play the Panthers, who have the third fewest sacks in the NFL. Plus, they've been struggling mightily against receivers. They're right outside the top 10 for most points allowed on the year, but in the last couple of weeks, they're allowing over 50 fantasy points per game to receivers, the second most in the NFL.
And you talked about Garrett Wilson on the other side and not really liking the situation there with him. The Bills just a tough matchup all the way around. I would think, hear me out, if there's any possibility for Garrett Wilson, it's just because the Jets will be playing from behind. But other than that, the matchup just seems like one you want to avoid if you can.
I think that's the hope if you need to start Garrett Wilson this week, because I understand there are people that just might not have a better option with 6 teams on bye, but if you have another option, I would look to go in the other direction. And it's nothing about Garrett Wilson. It's just the fact that I think this matchup for Zach Wilson has seeing ghosts written all over it, just like last week did. And it could go so wrong so fast. And the fact that we haven't seen the Wilsons connect on a touchdown, he's averaging just 5 targets per game in games that Zach Wilson starts. There's too much volatility there for me to really get excited and want to start him unless I just don't have any other better options.
Garrett Wilson was so much more productive with Joe Flacco. Unfortunately now, Joe Flacco is actually the number 3 quarterback in New York, so it's not like those two are going to be working together anytime soon. Let's get to this week's edition of How We Feelin'. This is where we list off several players, sort of rapid fire, and talk about, well, how we're feeling about them. So let's get started with the Pharaoh himself, Tom Brady, going against the Los Angeles Rams. It's been an up and down year for TB12. How are we feeling about him this week?
I'm just feeling mediocre about him right now. He's struggled historically against this Rams defense as of late. Plus, we know Brady, as long as he's been in the NFL, the weakness is getting pressure on him. And when you have Aaron Donald, you always have a good chance of getting pressure on the quarterback. I still am not ready to write off Brady, the rest of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if him and the Bucks bounce back. I don't love his matchup this week.
Yeah, I would be worried about him, and he has been mediocre at best so far this season. Deontay Foreman has been pretty great in limited opportunities since Christian McCaffrey left, but I'll tell you, I'm a little bit worried about him right now, mostly because he missed practice on Wednesday with an ankle injury. Plus, there's talk that Chuba Hubbard could get back into the mix there, so it just feels like the Panthers do want to see what they have with Hubbard. The Bengals sort of middle of the road when it comes to stopping fantasy running back. So all of those things, the injury, the potential return of Chuba Hubbard, and the matchup lead me to feel just sort of meh about starting Deontay Foreman. I get it, with a lot of good running backs on a bye, you might be forced into that situation, but I'm not super excited about it. Speaking of running backs that could have some competition in the backfield, Eno Benjamin against the Seahawks. How we feeling?
Benjamin's been pretty reliable as the starter with James Conner absent. We have seen Conner return to practice. I know he's practiced the last couple of weeks and didn't play, but my thinking with Eno is the same that it's been. If Conner plays, I think you get him out of your starting lineup and you can't really use him. But if Conner sits, I think Eno then is like a RB2 or flex option in a pretty good matchup this week.
Over to the Detroit Lions and Jamal Williams. He's got the Green Bay Packers this week in a game that could maybe be high scoring if the Packers can live up to their end of the bargain. I like Jamal Williams this week. I think he is in a very good spot. He is dominating those carries inside the 5-yard line, and that is by design at this point in the season. But he's had 50 or more rushing yards in just about every game he's played this season, has 8 rushing touchdowns. The only player who has more rushing scores this year is Nick Chubb. Packers can be had on the ground, and with DeAndre Swift still nursing some injuries, I think Jamal Williams is in a great spot, so I feel very good about him. Let's stay in the NFC North and go over to Chicago. David Montgomery has the Dolphins defense this week. How do you feel about him?
I think he's in play as like a low-end RB2 or a flex option. He doesn't bring the highest of floor, but we know there's more upside there. But I continue to say I would be trying to trade David Montgomery while he's still a big relevant name, because he's now splitting carries with Khalil Herbert. He has 4 targets in his last 3 games. Justin Fields is taking rushing production away. But if he's on your roster, especially a week like this with 6 teams on bye, I think he's in play as a starter.
I wish I could get more out of David Montgomery, but unfortunately it's just been so frustrating. I'm on Ross St. Brown as we go back to that Lions-Packers matchup, and I'll tell you what, I feel fine about I'm on Ross St. Brown. He is still going to be a target machine, with no TJ Hawkinson now, maybe even a few more targets there because he continues to work in the middle of the field there in that the Detroit Lions offense. So I feel really good about Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you've got him, put him in your lineup. I think you're going to continue to get good things. Let's go to one of his former college teammates. That's Michael Pittman Jr. in Indianapolis taking on the Patriots. How you feel about him?
I don't love the quarterback. I don't love the matchup, but I still think Michael Pittman Jr. is in play every week. 1, because of his talent, but 2, just because of volume. Like 9 targets last week with Sam Ehlinger, 9 targets the week before, 16 the week before that. He has 1 game all year with less than 8 targets. When you're getting that kind of volume and you're a player as talented as Michael Pittman, I still think you have to start him each week.
I think that's the case. He's the one guy I think you can sort of still believe in that offense. Last one, Mecole Hardman against the Tennessee Titans. I don't feel great. The matchup's not bad. The Titans secondary is one that can be had, but the thing with Mecole Hardman is that it just feels like lightning in a bottle whenever you get those big games. You don't know what the usage is going to be. Sure, it was nice that he scored all those touchdowns against the 49ers a couple of weeks ago, but you just can't count on the targets. You can't count on the touches, and throw in the fact that Kadarius Toney could be active and getting some sort of opportunity in this offense. That means one more guy to potentially take opportunities away. So this is one I would completely stay away from. Coming up, can you trust TJ Hawkinson now that he has moved from Detroit to Minnesota? You'll find that out next. So we got our top starts and sits for tight ends coming up on the Start 'em Sit 'em Show. Tight end starts and sits for week 9. Florio, go.
Zach Ertz, who's as consistent as they get. Evan Ingram, who's been pretty consistent as of late in his own right. Gerald Everett, because someone's got to catch passes there in a good matchup. And then Noah Fant, a sneaky streaming option this week. Some sits. TJ Hawkinson, you see there the little Vikings helmet. We're going to get into that. Hunter Henry, Cole Kmet, and Cade Otton. Just not enough volume there to trust those guys.
We keep trying to make Cade Otton a thing, and it's just not being a thing at this point. You talk about Evan Ingram, and at the beginning of the year, he was a sleeper. He was a streamer. At this point, Florio, he's played well enough that maybe he's just a start, and he's had a good matchup against the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's done well enough where we got to stop talking about him as like a guy you could pick up off the waiver wire and just be like, hey, he's a tight end you want to roster and start, because he has at least 6 targets in each of the last 4 games with at least 9 fantasy points in each of those and over 10 in 3 of them. That is more volume and weekly production than most tight ends can say they're getting right now. And then he has a good matchup this week against the Raiders, who have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to tight ends, including the 3rd most touchdowns. He's coming off of a game where he caught his first touchdown as a Jaguar. He scored over 15 fantasy points. The arrow's trending up. The matchup is great. I say get him in your lineup. Was that a Jaguar?
Yeah, definitely. Is that what that was? I thought my stomach was growling or something. On the other side, there's TJ Hawkinson, who just got traded from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings. So looking for him to have his first game with his new team against the Washington Commanders. But you don't like him this week, huh?
So it's not that I don't like him. It's that I never fully trust pass catchers like receivers, tight ends who are going into a new offense, especially this guy got traded 3 days ago. He's going to have half of a week to learn an offense. And I know we saw Christian McCaffrey play in like a limited role his first week on a team. It's a lot easier for a running back, especially when compared to a tight end. Hawkinson not only needs to learn routes, he needs to get his timing down with Jared Goff. He also needs to learn how to block, because tight ends are basically playing 2 positions out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him limited, if we see a couple of easy routes that they designed for to just get him involved. But I have a lot of concerns about the volume, and it's a really tough matchup. The Commanders have been the best team at stopping tight ends this year.
Which is a wild thing to say because they have struggled in so many other areas stopping things. Yeah, I think it's worth giving Hawkinson a week or two to sort of get acclimated before we look at putting him in some lineups there. Time now for Finger Licking Good Starts of the Week, presented by KFC, talking about some guys who deserve a little bit more attention and should be maybe in a few more starting lineups this week. So who is the first one on your list, Mike?
We're going with the kittens. DeAndre Swift. He is a player that right now I would be trying to trade and get on all of my rosters. He's so explosive. He's averaging over 7 yards per carry, almost 8 yards per catch. And if you drafted DeAndre Swift, he's missed time. I know last week when he was very limited, I think they were easing him back in. It's frustrating. So you might be in need of a win right now. So that just means that the manager that has him, you could probably get him for a little bit cheaper right now.
Definitely think it's worth adding him to the roster. My only concern is, as I mentioned, Jamal Williams getting so much goal line work, but I think extra targets are coming with TJ Hawkinson not in Detroit anymore. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs against the Jaguars. Didn't mean for so much alliteration, but hey, we'll roll with it. I know it was a bad week last week against the Saints. The Saints, not bad against the run. The Jaguars, bad against the run. And I think the Raiders want to get back to what was helping them out the last few weeks before they got shut out by New Orleans. And I think that means leaning on Josh Jacobs a little bit more. I also think, by the way, it means you see a few more targets to Devontae Adams after a poor week. But I definitely think if you had Josh Jacobs and he let you down, keep rolling with him. He's been so good all year long. This is a bounce back opportunity. So you talked about the Commanders defensively and not wanting to start TJ Hawkinson, but offensively, there's a guy you wouldn't mind starting.
Oh, yeah, Terry McLaurin, and he has been playing much better because of plays like this that you see here. That's all him. Like, he is just so good. We know how good and how talented he is. But Carson Wentz was spreading the ball out, going more to Curtis Samuel, whereas Taylor Heineke, he's like, I know what Terry can do. I'm just going to throw it downfield, let Terry do his thing. So more volume with Taylor Heineke is only a good thing for Terry McLaurin.
Definitely love the Heineke to McLaurin connection. And I'm going to round this out with Juju Smith-Schuster. And I talked about my concern about Mecole Hardman going against the Titans. I have no such concerns about Juju Smith-Schuster. He is starting to get more opportunities. It looks like he and Patrick Mahomes are starting to get more on the same page. Yes, Travis Kelce's still the number one option there, but Juju really solidifying himself as the number two. He's looking like the guy we thought he would be when we were spending kind of a mid to late round draft pick on him. It's nice to see that. This feels like another really good spot for Juju in week 9. Up next, find out which star running backs Florio says need to be riding the bench this weekend for you. Plus, we're talking about who's getting into club dub, who's going to get you 25 fantasy points or more in fantasy this week. That's after the break on the Stardom Sid'em Show. NFL Votes is a nonpartisan initiative that supports and encourages civic engagement among NFL players and fans. The November 8th election has the potential to be game-changing for our future. NFL teams across the league are utilizing their stadiums for voting. Make your voice heard, scan the QR code, or go to nfl.com/votes to learn more. Taking a look at the start and sit running backs for week 9. Who's up and who's down this week?
Aaron Jones is a must start against the Detroit Lions. Joe Mixon gets so much volume each week that he is still a start. Raheem Mostert in a good matchup against the Bears, and then Tyler Algier in a good matchup against the Chargers. Some sits. James Robinson, I just don't want to trust the Jets backfield against the Bills. Brian Robinson, too much going on in that backfield. Darrell Henderson Jr., same thing. And Kenyon Drake, just a tough matchup, and Gus Edwards still up in the air.
Well, you mentioned Darrell Henderson. Reports are Cam Akers expected to practice for the Rams on Thursday. Don't know what that means for the whole backfield, but looks like Akers could be back in the mix very soon. Let's talk about Raheem Mostert, though, because he has been very good all year long. I know he got his old running mate Jeff Wilson back there via a trade this week, but this matchup against the Bears just seems too sweet to avoid.
Yeah, not only have the Bears allowed a ton of production to running backs this year, the type of production they've allowed are what fits Raheem Mostert's strength. Like, I know everyone in the world had Tony Pollard as a start last week, but I write these on Sunday the week before, and I had Tony Pollard because I was like, he's the outside runner for the Cowboys, and that's what the Bears struggle on all year long. Well, Raheem Mostert, not only does he have more carries outside the tackle than inside, he's far more productive, much more successful, gets more breakaway runs there. So we know how fast and explosive he is. This could be a game with the amount of volume he sees that he just goes boom.
This feels like a very big game coming up for Raheem Mostert. On the other side, you mentioned Brian Robinson as a sit. I mean, the matchup's not great. The backfield is a mess. I feel like you could have just said Commanders running backs as a whole, and it would pretty much be the same thing.
Yeah, I don't want to start any of them. Like, Brian Robinson was getting the carries where, like, J.D. McKissic was getting most of the targets, and then Gibson was kind of mixed in. Gibson is really eating into the other two production, and last week, Robinson played just 25% of the snaps. He finished with 2 fantasy points. The floor is just entirely too low. And like you said, it's a tough matchup against the Vikings, who are in the bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to running backs. I would sit Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissic, all of the Washington running backs.
You know what time it is. Get that hair gel ready and that Jaquar Noir. Get your fist pumps going because it's time to get into Club Dub. The guys who are going to get you 25 fantasy points this week. We got our money guns ready right now. So, Florio, who gets in behind the velvet ropes this week?
DeAndre Hopkins, who had the best Halloween costume I've seen this year. DeAndre Hopkins, Callie is not, once again, not liking the money gun, but D-Hop, at least 13 targets in 2 straight games, over 100 yards in each of them. He caught a touchdown last week. I know the Seahawks have been very, very good as of late and just all year against receivers. I don't care. D-Hop is so good, and I think they'll have to throw the ball to keep up with Geno Smith in that Seahawks offense. So all the volume, air yards, everything that he's been getting, he's going to go off this week.
He's also elevated Kyler Murray in fantasy points as well. So force-feeding the ball to DeAndre Hopkins seems to work. And yeah, that Sideshow Bob costume he was rocking was amazing. For me, I'm going down to Jacksonville and we got to get that money gun going. Come on, let's go. Yeah, there it is. That kind of gets it loosened up a little bit, but it's going to be Travis Etienne. We're still helping this thing out. I don't care. We're throwing our money in the air. Travis Etienne going against the Las Vegas Raiders this week. Going to be in the club. We talk on the NFL Fantasy Football Show about how he is among the league leaders in runs over 20 yards, yet he was 23rd when it came to rush attempts per game. I think that changes now with James Robinson out of the mix there in Jacksonville, and he's got a good matchup against a bad Raiders run defense. Etienne had 25 points last week, and he gets you 25 or more again this week. So there it is. Those are the guys who are going to be living it up at Club Dub this week. Just a reminder, by the way, if you subscribe to this show, which you should, subscribe, like it, send us comments as well. We appreciate all of that stuff. You can get all of our fantasy football content in your podcast feed all week long. That includes the NFL Fantasy Football Show, also includes the Q&A show. So be sure to do that. You can check out those shows, of course, in the NFL Fantasy app, on the NFL Fast channels, and at youtube.com/NFL Fantasy Football. So there it is. That'll do it for this edition of the StartSit RBs Show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you also enjoy week 9. For Mike, I am Marcus. That is it. Have a good week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.